Fast and the Furious, like if that's like what people hold as like the car chase movies and stuff, I can't get into them because they just don't feel realistic. They look way too over the top, and this is actually like people, you know, like zigzagging through cars and actually going off ramps. What's up, YouTube? We are Drive-By Movies, and never have I ever seen Escape from New York. My name is James.
My name is Blaze.
And this week we are taking a deep dive look into the 1981 John Carpenter classic, Escape from New York, starring none other than Kurt Russell.
Hold on. John Carpenter's Escape from New York, the greatest escape of them all, is about to blow the future apart.
Escape from New York chronicles in 1997 the future. Basically, the president crash lands on his way to a mission. He crash lands in Manhattan, which has now become a maximum security prison, entirely surrounded by walls, and a bank robber who's been convicted has to go in and save the president.
So cool background for me, I guess. Like, there's a lot of movies that we'll be checking out over in due time that, like, I might have seen clips of or, like, kind of remember seeing, but also just, like, never got around to finishing it completely. This movie just, I have no idea really what it was about. Like, I kind of knew the premise, and I knew, like, the character of Snake is an inspiration to Solid Snake from the Metal Gear Solid franchise. But this is I love John Carpenter. He's one of my favorite filmmakers. The Thing to this day is one of my top 3 favorite films, I'd say. But finally got a chance to see like this classic. Is it his first film or second film? I know it's one of his earliest, at least, but
no,
it's not.
I know Assault. I think Assault on Precinct 13 is his first film.
Gotcha.
Isn't this after Halloween or this before Halloween?
Oh, you know what? Oh, yeah. If it's 1981, then yeah, it's absolutely after Halloween. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I felt like this was after Halloween, but it feels like it's before, especially because Halloween is like so good. To where, in my opinion, I was kind of surprised when you chose this film because this film's all right. I think the soundtrack, if the soundtrack wasn't as good as it was, I don't think this film would like have really any merit, to be completely honest.
Gotcha. So sorry to make you watch it a second time then.
Yeah, it's all good. It's fine. Like, I love the setting. I love this, like the sets, the ambiance, the mise en scène. Like, I love those things about it. But when it comes to the story, it's just not really dramatically there. It's not really that entertaining. It is a really like slow burn of a movie, especially with these huge like commanding sets. I think a little bit of that like has to do with kind of the cinematography. A lot of everything is like really done wide and like it's very run and gun style movie. So I feel like that detracted kind of and like stopped the story maybe from being that good. I think the script also probably wasn't that great to begin with.
Gotcha. I mean, I loved it. The premise, I think, is the coolest part about the movie. And one thing also with a lot of action movies is I feel like the stakes are never really there. I felt like there were some high stakes with this. Everyone does feel like they're in danger. Never once did I think like, oh, he's going to get out of this perfectly fine and stuff. Like, I actually thought like, oh, crap, no. Like, not that they're going to kill Snake, but I felt like it was definitely a possibility that like he might not make it out in the end. There's certain movies like superhero movies where I'm just like, this just doesn't feel like dangerous whatsoever. You just know how it's going to end. This felt very surprising to me. I was actually really surprised to see Donald Pleasance as the president of the movie. That caught me off guard. I was like, what? Loomis is in this? Yeah, and I also have to agree though with the soundtrack of the movie. That's one of the highlights. I think my favorite part is the like cowbell theme song. It's kind of usually during like the chase sequences of the movie. And I guess what made me enjoy this movie the most, though, was I love the Warriors. We've done 2 episodes of sequel on the Warriors. We both had our shot to do a sequel to the movie. But I never thought about this. Like, this kind of feels like a sequel to the Warriors. This feels like a really deep, further amount into the future of the Warriors, where like gangs have completely taken over New York, and Solid Snake is, or not Solid Snake, but just Kurt Russell's thrown in to try to save the president. Like, I guess if they were ever to make a Warriors sequel, I'd love to see these 2 movies united into like a shared universe.
You mentioned Solid Snake. It's just Snake Plissken, right?
Yeah,
but it is like common knowledge that the character Solid Snake from Metal Gear Solid is based off of Snake Plissken. I think that's actually his name in the games too. So they are synonymous.
I'm a little embarrassed though because I've never even played any of the Metal Gear Solid games.
Well, I think it just has to be being that the character is like kind of in the zeitgeist, like it is in pop culture, even though you haven't played the games. Right. Kind of know who that character is, and you did know that it was based off of this film's main character.
Yeah. I can see why people do hold this movie like so dear to their heart and everything. Like, I did enjoy it. Like, I wish I could have saw it at an earlier age or something when I was like just barely getting into the movies, or when I was like first on that John Carpenter like hype run that I ever had in my life, where I was like checking out as much of his movies as I can. I still haven't seen Big Trouble in Little China. That is a future episode we'll do. So I'm excited for that one. But yeah, this one was fun. Like, I'd say also, like, for the most part, the movie like does hold up to modern day standards. Like, some of the special effects, of course, is outdated, and I'd say that I was so stoked to see that like ring fight scene. I was like, oh, this is gonna be badass. But then the choreography, I was like, oh gosh,
it was kind of cringe.
Yeah.
Like, it just seems like they planned like we're gonna do this huge fight scene, and there was like no choreography. It was just they were winging it. It felt like. Right. And it goes on for so long, I felt like.
I did like the car chase scenes. So those, I was just like, oh, damn, these are like real stunts, and like they're pretty...
Have you seen The French Connection?
I've seen that scene, but yeah. I haven't seen The French Connection, actually, though.
Okay, maybe that's something we'll have to do on that. I mean, if you want to talk about car chases, like, it's probably that and an Italian Job. And this is like well after those films, so I feel like it has no excuses.
Yeah. Well, compared to there's some really like Fast and the Furious, like if that's like what people hold as like the car chase movies and stuff, I can't get into them because they just don't feel realistic. They look way too over the top, and this is actually like people, like zigzagging through cars and actually going off ramps, and I appreciate that stunt work. I mean, of course, nothing is going to top Mad Max Fury Road, I'd say. But seeing this happen in the early 80s, this was probably shot in like 1979, 1980 or whatever. It's still like just cool to see. And like,
have you seen The French Connection?
I haven't.
I'm just fucking. I just fucking with you again because he said nothing. I honestly believe that French Connection is better than Mad Max Fury Road if we're just talking cars. Like, really? Oh, I mean, it's a different time. Like, I think Mad Max Fury Road is cool and all, but it's just a different movie. Like, I still think like French Connection, they did shit they didn't have permits or anything. Like, and it's stuff that could never be filmed again because of that. Like, in Mad Max Fury Road, they're just filming on the desert, so like they can kind of get away with anything. And every car is a stunt car, and they're all manned by stunt drivers, I would imagine, or pretty close to it. And there's really you can't run into like a street sign or anything. French Connection, I feel like there was innocent bystanders that were walking by at the time that could have gotten very unlucky that day.
Oh, jeez. I mean, I know that's also a William Friedkin movie. Like last week, you saw The Exorcist for the first time. So, yeah, maybe that'll be one that, when we get to my episode, that'll be one that we'll have to do. Because, I've always wanted to see it. It is on my list of movies to check out. But overall, I'd say this movie was entertaining. It's not like my favorite movie of all time, I'd say, but it was still a fun watch. The soundtrack was cool. Like, I'm glad that I finally got to check out this John Carpenter classic when he's one of my favorite filmmakers.
Yeah, definitely. I think I wish you'd pick Big Trouble in Little China first, but we'll get to it. Like you said, we'll get to it eventually. But I think if I was to choose one, I mean, you didn't know, you hadn't seen either, so we'll figure it out when we get to that. But yeah, I enjoyed the movie. It's fine. Like, I just felt like it's not bad. It's just it's nothing to write home about. I think now that I've watched it again, I don't think I ever need to see it again. Like, I think it's just it's okay. There's just really no reason. And if the sequel's a million times worse, so yeah, don't even. I'll just tell you right now, don't even bother with that one. It's so bad. Like, if you say you like John Carpenter, if you want to hate him, pop in that one, Escape from LA.
Well, there's a reason why I never checked out The Ward, because I heard that's like just the worst last film like ever and stuff, and which I feel bummed about because I do miss John Carpenter as a filmmaker. Like, I mean, I'm glad he like kind of helped out with the latest Halloween reboot sequel, but yeah.
This film has just so much ambiance, the sets, the music is awesome. It's just I wish the script was up there to compete with those things.
Yeah, I was hoping actually that it was going to be a descent into like crazy like underground or underworld like different gangs that he was going to be fighting into, because that's what it looked like it was at first. Essentially, there's really only like one main gang he's fighting. He does come across other people, but one cool movie that we checked out on Direct to Dumpster was called Wheels of Fire, and it just felt like nonstop like oh, who's the next boss that our main character is gonna fight and stuff. Like, there's a cannibal scene, there's like another rival gang, there's the main gang that he's fighting, and just like like I was hoping for one of those style movies. And I mean,
like
of course,
a video game movie essentially, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But the stakes in this, like, I get it, though. He only has 22 hours, though, to save the president, and, he has to keep focus and everything. But, there were some cool moments with it. It's not my favorite John Carpenter movie. I see why people do enjoy this movie so much. It's just not my favorite of his, though, I'd say.
Yeah.
I was really hoping it was, so, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say, like, it definitely, like, you probably saw the cover, like, way back when, and, like, just assume you're going to love this movie. Mm-hmm. And you definitely like it, and I'm speaking for myself also, like, you definitely like it, but you kind of wish that it was, more of like something like The Warriors, where I actually really cherished that movie. We did it on sequel twice, like you said.
Right, yeah. And that's a movie, like, right when I watched it, I was like, damn, this is one of my favorite movies and stuff. I mean, maybe if I do watch it a second time, I'll like it a little bit better. Maybe it will grow on me, but maybe not, though. Also, you just did that and it didn't work for you, so yeah.
Yeah, it might, though. You never know. They just bump that soundtrack up as hard as you can. Just, tuck yourself in, get ready buckle up for that wild ride. But I say, if you guys want to support the show, like, I'm glad we checked this movie out, but definitely you guys can also check the movie out. Go ahead and click the Amazon affiliate link in the description box below to support the show.
And if you haven't already, please smash that like button and give us a subscription. And if you haven't, also hit that notification bell to get all our latest updates.
Tune in next week for a brand new Never Have I Ever.